We like to believe the people around us are good, kind, reliable, incapable of real harm. But history shows the line between good and evil isn't as clear as we'd like to think. Ordinary people have committed terrible acts enforcing unjust laws, turning a blind eye, or even participating in atrocities. This isn't about excusing evil, but understanding how it happens. Evil isn't always a matter of who you are, it's often about what you do when circumstances push you. The capacity for harm may exist in all of us, waiting for the right conditions. The real battle between good and evil happens in our daily choices, not just in dramatic moments. It's not about monsters and heroes, but about people, like us, making decisions. To prevent darkness, we must understand how ordinary people can be led astray. The world isn't divided into good and bad people, but into those who choose to do good and those who don't. That choice is one we all face, every day. So what makes good people go wrong? Let's look closer. In the 1960s, psychologist Stanley Milgram wanted to know how ordinary people could commit horrific acts under orders. He set up an experiment. Volunteers thought they were giving electric shocks to a stranger for wrong answers. The shocks were fake, but the stress was real. When told by an authority figure to continue, most people obeyed, even as the learner screamed in pain. 2/3 went all the way to the maximum voltage, simply because someone in a lab coat told them to. These weren't monsters, they were regular people just following orders. The experiment revealed how easily we defer responsibility to authority even against our morals. Our respect for authority can override our conscience. Milgram's study showed the dark side of obedience. We can become instruments of harm if we stop thinking for ourselves. But authority isn't the only force at play. In 1971, Philip Zimbardo's Stanford prison experiment asked, what happens when good people are put in bad situations? College students were randomly assigned as guards or prisoners in a mock prison. Within days, guards became cruel, prisoners became passive, and the experiment spiraled out of control. The roles and environment, not the people, drove the behavior. The guards weren't sadists, the prisoners weren't weak. They were shaped by the system around them. The experiment ended early, a warning of how quickly we can lose ourselves to roles and expectations. It's not just authority, but the power of situations and systems that can lead us astray. When we stop seeing each other as individuals, cruelty becomes easier, but evil isn't always dramatic. It can be disturbingly ordinary. In 1961, Adolf Eichmann, a key organizer of the Holocaust, stood trial. Many expected a monster, but philosopher Hannah Arendt saw a bland bureaucrat, terrifyingly normal. Eichmann claimed he was just following orders, more concerned with his job than the consequences. Arendt called this the banality of evil. The idea that great harm can come from ordinary people who stop thinking critically. Evil isn't always driven by hatred. Sometimes it's just thoughtless conformity. When we stop questioning, we risk becoming part of terrible systems without realizing it. The most dangerous evil can be routine, hidden in everyday actions and excuses. Arendt's warning: the real threat is not monsters, but people who don't think. When we separate our actions from their consequences, evil becomes easy. The lesson: never stop asking why. And this danger isn't just in history, it's all around us. The forces Milgram, Zimbardo, and Arendt described are still at work today. In offices, people bend rules because a boss asks, or because everyone does it. Online anonymity and groupthink make it easy to join in outrage or cruelty. Political tribes pressure us to defend actions we'd otherwise condemn. In each case, ordinary people contribute to harm not out of malice, but from obedience, conformity, or the comfort of not thinking. The settings have changed, but the psychology hasn't. The banality of evil is alive in gossip, online mobs, and blind loyalty. We must recognize these patterns in our own lives. Evil isn't always dramatic, it's often subtle, woven into daily choices. The challenge is to stay aware and to think for ourselves. So how do we resist these pressures? Are we doomed to repeat these patterns? No. In every experiment, some people refuse to obey, choosing conscience over authority. Awareness is the first defense, recognizing when we're being pressured to do wrong. When you feel the urge to conform or obey, pause and ask, is this right? Questioning authority isn't rebellion, it's responsibility. The antidote to the banality of evil is active, critical thought. Take responsibility for your actions, even in a group. Empathy is key. When we see others as human, it's harder to harm them. Small acts of courage, speaking up, refusing to go along, can break the cycle. Our choices matter, even when they seem small. Understanding our vulnerabilities empowers us to resist. Ordinary people can be led to do harm, but resistance is always possible. The choice to obey or dissent, to harm or help, is ours. Moral courage isn't just for heroes, it's for everyone in everyday moments. Small acts of integrity build a just society. Every time we choose conscience over conformity, we make it easier for others to do the same. The world changes through countless small choices. The line between good and evil runs through every heart. Our task is to guard that line within ourselves. Evil triumphs when good people do nothing. The world doesn't need more good people, it needs good people who choose to act.